The mustache. At the last minute, Annie couldn't go. She was invaded by one of those 24-hour flu bugs that sent her to bed with a fever, moaning about the fact that she'd also have to break her date with handsome Harry Arnold that night. We call him Handsome Harry because he's actually handsome, but he's also a nice guy, cool, and he doesn't treat me like Annie's kid brother, which I am, but like a regular person. Anyway, I had to go to lawn rest alone that afternoon. But first of all, I had to stand inspection. My mother lined me up against the wall. She stood there like a one-man firing squad, which is kind of funny because she's not like a man at all. She's very feminine, and we have this great relationship. I mean, I feel as if she really likes me. I realize that sounds strange, but I know guys whose mothers love them and cook special stuff for them and worry about them and all, but there's something missing in their relationship. Anyway, she frowned and started the routine. That hair, she said, then admitted, well, at least you combed it. I sighed. I have discovered that it's better to sigh than argue. And that mustache, she shook her head. I still say a 17-year-old has no business wearing a mustache. It's an experiment, I said. I just wanted to see if I could grow one. To tell the truth, I had proved my point about being able to grow a decent mustache, but I had also learned to like it. It's costing you money, Mike, she said. I know. The money was a reference to the movies. The downtown cinema had a special Friday night offer. Half-price admission for high school couples, 17 or younger. But the woman in the box office took one look at my mustache and charged me full price, even when I showed her my driver's license. She charged full admission for Cindy's ticket, too, which left me practically broke and unable to take Cindy out for a hamburger when the crowd afterward. That didn't help matters, because Cindy has been getting impatient recently about things like the fact that I don't own my own car and have to concentrate on my studies if I want to win that college scholarship, for instance. Cindy wasn't exactly crazy about the mustache either. Now it was my mother's turn to sigh. Look, I said to cheer her up, I'm thinking about shaving it off, even though I wasn't. Another discovery. You can build a way of life on postponement. Your grandmother probably won't even recognize you, she said, and I saw the shadow fall across her face. Let me tell you what the visit to Lawn Rest was all about. My grandmother is 73 years old. She is a resident, which is supposed to be a better word than patient, at the Lawn Rest nursing home. She used to make the greatest turkey dressing in the world and was a nut about baseball and could even quote batting averages for crying out loud. She always rooted for the losers. She was in love with the Mets until they started to win. Now she has arteriosclerosis, which the dictionary says is a chronic disease characterized by abnormal thickening and hardening of the arterial walls, which really means that she can't live at home anymore, or even with us, and her memory has betrayed her as well as her body. She used to wander off and sometimes didn't recognize people. My mother visits her all the time, driving the 30 miles to Lawn Rest almost every day. Because Annie was at home for the semester break from college, we had decided to make a special Saturday visit. Now, Annie was in bed, groaning theatrically. She's a drama major. But I told my mother I'd go anyway. I hadn't seen my grandmother since she'd been admitted to Lawn Rest. Besides, the place is located on the Southwest Turnpike, which meant I could barrel along in my father's new Le Mans. My ambition was to see the speedometer hit 75. Ordinarily, I used the old station wagon, which could barely stagger up to 50. Frankly, I wasn't too crazy about visiting a nursing home. They reminded me of hospitals, and hospitals turned me off. I mean, the smell of ether makes me nauseous, and I feel faint at the sight of blood. And as I approached Lawn Rest, which is a terrible cemetery kind of name to begin with, I was sorry I hadn't avoided the trip. Then I felt guilty about it. I'm loaded with guilt complexes. Like driving like a madman after promising my father to be careful. Like sitting in the parking lot looking at the nursing home with dread and thinking how I'd rather be with Cindy. Then I thought of all the Christmas and birthday gifts my grandmother had given me, and I got out of the car, guilty, as usual. Inside, I was surprised by the lack of hospital smell. Although there was another odor, or maybe the absence of an odor, the air was antiseptic, sterile, and if there was no atmosphere at all, or I'd caught a cold suddenly and couldn't taste or smell.